What is the difference between urban and rural populations? In the United States, the difference between urban and rural populations is a hot topic right now. Many people are curious about how these two groups compare, especially as urban areas continue to grow. Recently, there has been a lot of discussion about demographic changes and their impact on society. So, what exactly sets urban populations apart from rural ones? Urban areas are characterized by high population density. This means that people live closer together, with many buildings and businesses in a small space. In contrast, rural areas have much lower population density. Here, you will find more open land and fewer buildings spread out over larger distances. Since the year 2000, suburban areas have experienced the most significant population growth at 39%. Urban areas have followed with a growth rate of 26%, while rural areas have seen a slower increase of 22%. This trend shows that while rural areas are growing, they are not keeping pace with urban and suburban regions. Demographics also play a role in these differences. Immigrants have significantly contributed to growth in both urban and rural areas. Since the year 2000, immigrants have accounted for 38% of urban growth and 37% of rural growth. This influx of people has changed the cultural landscape and economic demands in both settings. When it comes to infrastructure, urban areas generally have better access to services. They usually feature well-developed road networks, public transportation, and healthcare facilities. Rural areas, however, often face challenges accessing these essential services, sometimes relying on urban centers for support. Transportation patterns differ significantly between urban and rural populations. Urban areas see more pedestrian and bicyclist activity, but they also experience more accidents at intersections. On the other hand, rural areas have higher rates of high-speed crashes and fatalities involving large trucks. Despite having only 20% of the population, rural areas account for 41% of vehicle crash deaths. In terms of economic activities, urban populations often work in industries such as services, technology, and manufacturing. In contrast, rural populations tend to be more engaged in agriculture, mining, and resource-based sectors. Overall, urban populations are concentrated in densely populated areas with diverse economic activities and growing immigrant communities. Rural populations, however, are more spread out, growing at a slower rate, and often face unique challenges related to transportation and access to services. Understanding these differences can help us appreciate the varied experiences of people living in different environments across the United States.